Hey fellow developers, welcome back to a brand new video. So do you know the best way to write React code is to separate out the business logic from the UI logic? So if you all have watched my previous video, you would have noticed that I wrote all the business logic and the UI logic in one component itself. So before showing you the code, let me show you what we actually made in our last video. So we made this very small project, which is basically a project to show you how intersection observer is used to implement infinite scrolling. So as you can see, we have some list of products, and as I scroll down, you can see more products gets fetched and it is shown to us. So we have achieved this using the intersection observer API. And now if we go to our code, let's go to this app.js file, and you can see that we have imported a component called products. And if we go inside this component, you can see that we have all of our fetching logic, the intersection observer logic, the UI logic, everything in one single component, which I feel is a very ugly way of writing React code. So we will fix this in this video, and basically I will be demonstrating you how you can separate out business logic like the one we have wrote over here from the UI. So without any delay, let's get started. So as I already mentioned, we have two business logic that we wrote inside of this products component. So first one is fetching of products, and the second one is the implementation of infinite scrolling itself. So now our main goal should be to extract these two business logics into its own custom hook or some reusable function that we can later use in other parts of our application if required. So first let's start with the infinite scrolling one. So now if you see, we have pretty much hard-coded our infinite scrolling logic in this component itself. It's very tightly coupled. So let's say we have to implement infinite scrolling in some other parts of our application. So in that case, what we have to do is basically copy this code and write it over there again, which is not an ideal way to write React code or any code in general. So to fix this, what we'll do is we will basically extract this logic into its own custom hook, which will make it extremely easy to reuse this same logic over and over again in different parts of our application. So now let's create a folder called hooks. And inside of this folder, I will create a file called use intersection observer. I always make sure that the name of the file is exactly same as the name of the custom hook. So let's do that. So the name of our custom hook will be use intersection observer, same as the name of our file. This is not mandatory, but I will suggest you also should follow this pattern in order to keep things consistent. And also one thing that you all have to keep in mind is that a custom hook should always start with use. Rather, all hooks in React should start with use. Now I will also straight away export it like this. And now what should we write inside here? For that, let's go to our products component, and here as you can see, we have a spinner ref, and if I scroll down, we have attached that spinner ref to our spinner component. So if we go back to our project that we built, you can see that this is the spinner where we have actually attached our spinner reference, and this acts like our target element. So basically we are checking whenever this spinner is visible, only then we are fetching more products. So inside of our intersection observer, we will need some kind of a target reference that we will attach, or you can say we will need some kind of reference that we will attach it to our target element. So let's create that reference using the use ref hook, and I will pass a default value of null, and then I will assign it to a variable called as target ref. And I will also return this target ref variable. And now if we again go back to our products component, we have a use effect. So basically I'll just copy this and let's paste it here. Now we will have to import use effect. So let's do that. And inside of the dependency array, we will have to pass target ref.current. So this will basically check whenever we have our target element or the target ref attached to our target element, this use effect will run. And now inside of this, we do not need this line, and instead of ref, this will be target ref dot current. And as you can also see that we are passing some options which is very specific to this feature, but we want to make it more generic. So now let's create a parameter called options, and I will give a default value of an empty object, and we will use these option parameter over here. So basically whenever we call our use intersection observer hook, we can pass a set of options to this hook as an argument. Also, I can see that we have something called as set is intersecting, which will basically indicate or inform us when our target element is visible. So for that, I will create a state called is intersecting, and also let's create another function set is intersecting, which will basically update this state, and this will be an use state, and its default value will be false. So basically our target element will be by default not visible. So now let's return this is intersecting state as well, and I can also see that we have something called as is spinner ref visible. So this is a dependency that we're passing to use effect. So what we can do is we can create yet another parameter called as dependencies, and I will give a default value of an empty array, and then use this dependencies parameter over here, and I will just spread it out so that this use effect will run whenever any of the array element in this dependencies array changes. So I think with this we're pretty much done with our use intersection observer hook, and as I can see that we have not imported use state, so let's do that quickly. And yeah, so now let's use this hook that we just created inside of our products component. So what I'm gonna do is just call use intersection observer, and this should auto import as you can see, and here we have to pass options, right? So let's copy these options and paste it here. So this will become the first argument, and if you remember, it also accepts another argument which is dependencies. So here you can see in the use effect we are passing is spinner ref visible as a dependency. So let's do it here also. I will just copy this array and pass it over here, and this hook returns a target ref and is intersecting these two values. So let's extract those out. And now I will just basically remove this use effect, remove this state, and also this reference. Now let's use this target ref and attach it to our spinner component. So I think with this we're pretty much refactored the infinite scrolling part. So let's quickly test it out. I will just refresh our page, and as you can see, whenever this spinner component is visible, we are fetching more products. So yeah, our hook is working as expected, and with this, as you can see, we have pretty much removed all of our redundant code which was very much tightly coupled to this products component, and extracted it out into a custom hook which we can now use anywhere inside of our application. So this is the beauty of custom hooks. We can pretty much extract any business logic into a custom hook and reuse it as and when required. And just to remind you, this video is not about how we can implement infinite scrolling using intersection observer. Rather, this video is about how you can separate out business logic and the UI logic using custom hooks. So finally, now we are left with refactoring only one business logic, which is the fetching of products. But this I will give as a homework to you all so that you all can try it out by yourself, because I've pretty much shown you how you can extract code which is very tightly coupled into a custom hook. But surely in the next video, I will be showing you how we can create a custom hook out of this fetch products function. But until then, you can give it a try by yourself. And if you're stuck, do not worry, I will be making a video very soon. So with this, let's wrap it up here and see you fellow developers in the next one. Until then, stay safe, keep coding, bye bye.